new J Electronica album, talking this new J Electronica album live on YouTube. I'm gonna be bringing in my man Ray Rock here in a minute to get his thoughts on it. I think we have some differing points of views. If you're tuning in live, appreciate you being here. Make sure you give this video a quick thumbs up and let me know where you're watching this from. My name is Ruslan, and I'm gonna drop my intro, tell you what the channel's about. We're gonna get into it.
I don't need nothing else. Every time I'm with you, yo, it's something else. It's a fact, and it's nothing else. Got your hand out, you don't even need a help. Ooh, I don't need nothing else. Every time I'm with you, yo, it's something else. It's a fact, and it's nothing else. Got your hand out, you don't even need a help. Ooh, that's right. I don't need nothing else. That's right.
King's Dream.
What's going on? It's Ruslan with KingsDreamENT.com. This channel exists to encourage, empower, inspire you to live out God's dream. And today we're going to be talking about this new J Electronica album. Jay-Z J Electronica album. I don't know what you want to call it. I think you could cut it either way. And I wanted to bring in somebody. We were going back and forth over this with text message, the idea how good this album really was and all that kind of stuff. Listen, real quick, you want a quick way to get banned from my channel? Leave a toxic comment about Christians shouldn't be listening to J Electronica or Jay-Z, or just even mention the word Illuminati or something completely goofy like that, or 5G. Any of those conspiracy theories, we just gonna wipe you off the channel instantly. That's a quick way to not do that. Do not leave anything toxic in my comment section. Just wanted to put that out there before we get into this video. Hey, again, if you're watching this live, let me know where you are watching this from. We got my man from Denmark. Hey, those of you guys that are watching this, quick thumbs up, man. Them thumbs up, I promise you. Them thumbs up really be working for your boy. That pushes up the algorithm. We are live on YouTube. We want to get the YouTube clout and all that kind of stuff. Illuminated, my man Marco. Y'all trolling now. Hey, don't play with me. Don't play with my emotions. I will block you, baby. Or at least I'll put you in timeout in the chat. Metro City, Detroit. Marcel Brown, what up? All right, so let's get into it. J Electronica dropped an album about 15 years later than expected. No, about 10 years later than expected. And I, for one, loved the album. Now, I am a fan of J Elect. I'm obviously a huge fan of Jay-Z. And I like the music. I like the content. I will say, just observationally, I understand and can see from a content standpoint how non-Christians must have felt listening to Jesus is King or Jesus is Lord. Was it Jesus Lord? Jesus is Lord. I understand how non-Christians felt listening to that, having listened to this, as preachy as this was, in terms of the 5% Fruit of Islam theology and all that kind of stuff. And so anyway, I'm going to bring in my man Ray Rock. Me and him are going to talk about it. If you have strong opinions.
Yo, what's up?
That's cool. We just do me a favor and keep them to yourself for now. Again, I love hitting that block button. I'm halfway trolling you, young prophet, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so Ray, what your initial impressions? I love the album. I didn't like the intro. I wasn't a fan of Ghost of Soldier Slim, and that's really the only thing I wasn't really feeling on this record. Everything else I loved, and I think this is one of those albums that everything that was imperfect about it was intentional, in my opinion. The same way I felt about Jesus is King. I wasn't a big fan of all the content, you know, Satan's Synagogue. Some of the lines were a little anti-Semitic, you could say. But all in all, I like the record. What are your thoughts?
At first listen, because you got to understand, like right now, as a DJ, like I'm out in these streets trying to entertain people. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And at first listen, you know, if you listen to the climate of all the other music that was out, like, you know, the Lil Baby record, you know what I mean? Roddy Ricch is playing all the time. You know, you have all these types of music that's so foreign,
right,
in the world of a written testimony, that at my first listen, I was bored.
Really? You know? You were bored?
I was bored. At my first listen. But that has to deal with, you know, when you listen to music, you know, the environment and where you're at the particular time, you know, can have an effect on your subjectivity.
Yes,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, for example, like if I was if let's say I wasn't a big fan of XX Estancion or whatever, you know what I mean, and I happen to be in this place of melancholy, I would probably give him a chance because
Right.
he has a lot of songs that geared to people who are going through a lot of stuff emotionally,
Right,
right?
right, 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 right.
But for me, I wasn't in that mindset. You know what I mean? I wasn't in that mindset. I was thinking about, you know, either it's gonna be 44-4,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I
444.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, 444, sorry. Or it was gonna be like, you know, big records, you know what I mean? So like I wasn't there. With that being said, on my second let's listen, I ended up enjoying the album.
Okay. Enjoying the album, but still not thinking it. Do you think it lived up to its potential? That's what I'm getting at.
I think it what was the potential, right? So for me, um, you know, sometimes the weight had again messes with the subjectivity, right? So for example, like if I'm waiting to have a meal,
Uh huh.
right, and I would wait this long, even if it's my favorite, you know, grandma's perfect beef stew,
Uh
you
huh.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think that for this long of a wait, that I got enough.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I don't enjoy grandma's beef stew. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Huh.
just think that the wait was too long.
Too long. I would agree. I would agree that
It's
it
a
was a little
great
long.
album.
Yeah.
It's a great album. It's a great album. But like so in order for me to say that it's a great album, I have to remove myself from three things. From the weight, right?
Yes.
The fact that it's Jay Electronica with Jay-Z, and we've been waiting for a Jay Electronica album by himself,
Yes.
right? And the fact that there's not enough music like the music on a written testimony out.
Yeah. Okay. Here is Gavin the Hot Rod said shiny suit theory is also 10 years old, didn't belong. I would agree with you. I would give you that. I don't think that needed to be on there. He redid the beat, I think, on it. I think that was the big change. He reproduced the beat. Here's why I like this album, right? Here's why I like this album. This
Go for it.
album is unpredictable, unstructured, all over the place at times. But what makes it dope is that the timing of it feels like the day we're living in. Like it's the perfect soundtrack to literally what's happening right now.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of
And
heavy, lofty.
tell me more about that.
So
You
like
know,
I
because
went on.
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You know, in the social,
Yeah, the social
political
climate.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, tell me why.
So like I went outside the other day and I was like cooped up in the house and just like hadn't been to the gym in a couple days, and so I'm one of those guys, like if I don't go to the gym for a couple days, I get stressed out, I get anxious, I get my cortisol levels all over the place, and so I'm like, you know what, I got to do something, and so I went on a run. I listened to it, and San Diego's been a little gloomy, and it's dark, right? It's not shiny. The sun is kind of out, but it's gloomy, and you got the social distancing happening. You got everything just kind of felt uneasy, right? And in the social climate, what's going on with the outbreak, what's going on politically worldwide, listening to this in this moment completely captured the vibe of what I was going through and what I was feeling. You know what I mean? And when there was a freedom to it, of like especially that last record, you know, Jay was like, I got some numbers on my phone, I'll never ring again. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like that last record, man, was just a heavy, record with some melancholy, and they just completely captured like the way I felt that day. And I think like the timing of this record is impeccable.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And so I think like there's different types of artists, and I guess we can kind of get to this big idea is like a Rowdy Rich, right? A Rowdy Rich can go in and he can make a record like The Box, and it's a really dope record, but it's also a very produced record. It's very produced down to the intro and the like that thing, right? And it was like that record uses all the latest slang. It has modern and progressive production. It has a great hook, right? It's unpredictable. Yeah. It has like checkbox, everything a single needs to have, right? But it feels manufactured almost, even though he's a fresh voice. It still feels almost manufactured. Like it was done in a lab, like by a bunch of other people. And this is not taking away from Rowdy Rich. I think he's a phenomenal artist. This record feels polar opposite of anything that's out there and anything that's popping and anything that's going viral on TikTok. This is the complete opposite of it, and I think that's why I love it.
It don't fit on TikTok. How about that? It's not for TikTok.
Yeah.
And here's the cool thing that you said. You said that with the social distancing, right? Mm-hmm. That it was like the perfect record.
Yeah.
Here's why it grew on me as a classic. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I decided to listen to the album backwards.
Okay.
Okay. And the first song backwards is that song that you were just talking about the numbers. It's called The Overwhelming Event.
Wow.
So like,
woo, I got goosebumps.
Right? So I think that like if I encourage everyone who is like me, who listened to the record and was like, where's the bangers? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think that if you listen to the record in the conditions that we're in right now, right? Yeah. And listen to it backwards, you're literally going to start with the idea that with death. You know what I mean? That's the first subject matter if you listen to the album backwards.
What made you want to listen to it backwards? I'm just curious.
Shout out to a lot of guys that I grew up with. A lot of guys that I grew up with in the barbershop, Dre the Giant, just different people. Yeah. Charlamagne the God listens to a lot of albums backwards because a lot of artists for a long time they would sync their album just like Damn. So Damn, if you play Damn backwards, there's a message.
I heard Damn was intentionally made that way. You could play it forward and backwards.
So there's a lot of albums that are intentionally made this way.
Yeah.
And sometimes when a product is finished being put together, a lot of artists consider the playback backwards and try to say, okay, instead of playing the songs, top to bottom, right, where all the great songs are going from the top to bottom, right. Let's also play it backwards so that we can have something that's kind of good in the middle. You know what I mean?
That's good.
So that's a kind of good way to even out like the enjoyment of the listener. And then other artists, you know what I mean? Every song is meant to be played after every song.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I mean?
good. That's
but
good.
It's a good practice. Like, so for all you rappers out there who are coming out with an EP, right? Instead of listing your songs top to bottom, right? You should think about the playability backwards and then find yourself in the middle.
That's good. So here's my question to you, and I got some opinions on this. I would like to know, even with you guys think in the comment section, do you think anybody but Jay Electronica, Jay-Z, Kanye, maybe Kendrick can drop an album this all over the place at times, random, discombobulated? Like I feel like the reason why Kanye was able to drop Jesus is Lord and it be this well received is because he's Kanye. And people are like, Kanye is talking about Jesus more than the Christian rappers. Right? All you goofy people in the comment section. And you're going to have the same thing here. Well, Jay-Z and Jay Electronica talked about their faith a whole lot, and you Christian rappers don't ever want to talk about your faith. Right? but I think you can't remove the art from the artist. Like Jay-Z is iconic, Jay Electronica is iconic, Kanye is iconic. You got guys that are arguably some of the greatest like creatives of this era dropping this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Imperfect, yet it's preachy. Do you think that a non-iconic legendary artist can do this and pull it off as like pull it off in
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Absolutely not. Because when I started listening to this, I wouldn't have given the album a second chance.
Okay.
Right? If I'm listening to enjoyment, right? Music, when we listen to music, everyone comes to the office of music for something different, right? So unless like I'm a lyrics guy, I'm all about lyrics. I don't come to the table, for lyrics right away. That's like my second thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I come for feeling.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
That's good.
And a hook and a beat do a lot for feeling.
Yes.
You get what I mean? And so on this album, there's a lot of songs with no hooks.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of songs that are stripped down. Mind you, the purpose that they released this album, even in the title, a written testimony, is for something for you to listen to the lyrics, right? But remember, look, I have to give you those presuppositions, right? For you to do that, right? I have to tell you, listen to the album backwards, right? And look at the title. The title says a written testimony. So we're going to focus on the testimony, right? We're going to focus on what's being said.
Yes. So let me ask you this. If Dayton drops this same album, you don't think it's going over as well?
Dayton is a phenomenal rapper. It will go well with his fans, right? With his fans and anyone who comes to the table for lyrics. But I believe the majority of the world doesn't come to the table to be like, yo, I'm going to listen to this album. Yeah. And I'm going to be inspired lyrically. I think what people do, majority of the world does, is come to an album, to have a feeling. And if you throw in there, this is why Damn was so good, right? Because it had enough depth, like To Pimp a Butterfly, right? But it had the commercial playback as a Good Kid, Mad City.
Yes. I don't think Good Kid, Mad City had commercial playback, but I get what you're saying.
But you get what I mean. It did have some. It did have at least 3 records.
3.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 3, but not like Damn. Like Damn had a lot of replayable.
Damn
records.
Had a lot. A lot of playback.
And I think Damn struck that balance. I think 444 kind of struck that balance, but not as well as Damn did. In terms of content, substance, and all that. Here's my thoughts, and this is something that I want to explore is, can the audience elect the next Jay-elect without a Jay-Z cosign, without you know what I'm saying? Like the clout of dating Erykah Badu, having a baby with Erykah Badu. You know what I'm saying? Having Jay-Z, co-sign you, having all the industry guys ride your coattails. Can the audience elect somebody to this level? A core audience. Like that's why I give Dayton as an example, because Dayton is big enough where there's a core audience there, or myself, you know what I'm saying? Where we have enough of a core audience, there's enough people that listen, but we're not mainstream level. But can a work of art be elevated to that degree, or just some type of way where it doesn't feel formulated? Because we all feel this pressure to make these commercial records, and that's kind of the frustrating part, right? Is like, I don't want to think about a hook. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a great art form in and of itself, but sometimes you just want to spaz out. But you know that when you just black out and you just rap for 46 bars, it's not palatable to the average listener.
Right. And so you said it right there, like, for it to be elevated as a #1 record. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. the only person that I know to do this, right? But the production on this album was top tier, or maybe let's say not even top tier, but let's say it was better than this album, and that was The Marathon Continues, right? The whole album of The Marathon Continue, he is spitting game. He is telling you like ways to better yourself as a person, better your business, better your relationships, right? But he had a few commercial samples. You know what I mean? He had a few of them records. If it wasn't for Jay-Z and Jay Electronica, it's hard. And I would say this. I would say if Dayton did it with a producer who's known to be the king of like the underground movement, like Dayton and Madlib put together an album, then I would see it. You know what I mean? Making them charting hits. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, bro, and people don't value lyrics no more. If people value bars the way they say they do, then man, freaking Royce the 5'9" and Black Thought would be the greatest rappers of all time.
Well, to push back, I think when you bring up a Royce the 5'9" and a Black Thought, I think the reason, and this is completely biased, I think they have lyrics. I don't know if people value lyrics for the sake of lyrics. Royce the 5'9" and Black Thought are phenomenal lyricists, but there's not like an ethos that they're known for the way with a Jay-Z on 444, where he's now known for as Black excellence, entrepreneurship. There's a very clear ethos and mission and vision to what Jay-Z does on that record. Same thing with Jay Electronica. There's a very clear, like, he is the mascot of the Fruit of Islam, and he's gonna give you that substance. You can't say that about Royce. You can't say that about Royce. You can't say that about Black Thought. I don't know what Black Thought believes. I don't know what Black Thought thinks about anything besides, yo, I'm a dope rapper from the Philadelphia, rapping real cool, and you know he's felt. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all you know about Black Thought. Whereas like Eminem, what Eminem is known for, and obviously Eminem has the huge white thing going for him, pop crossover act. But with Eminem, I think it's he is the shock lore, right? Like the horrorcore version packaged in a commercial rapper.
Yeah, if you thought I was rapping too fast, I'm gonna rap even faster.
Yeah,
if you thought it was too many, if you thought the bars were too hard, I'm gonna make them even more grotesque and more hard. And that's his shtick. Yeah. But my whole thing is this: in order for you to do that, you have to have a career being known to be that guy.
Yes.
You know, so for me, for a random guy out of nowhere, right, to release an album like this, right, their fan base, and yo, listen, if somebody out there disagrees with me, here's my point. If you put your man on, if you feel like your fan base has to make that noise.
The fan base has to do it. And this is how I feel. I feel like the fan base has to do it. I think you're 150% right. I feel like this record should be a challenge for artists to make the album they want to make.
Right. And usually the album that artists make for themselves is the album that people don't like.
Yeah, that's a good point. But
or the masses don't like. It's the album that the core likes. So I give you a perfect example. To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
The masses, because they didn't, some of them, they're afraid, right? To say they didn't like something that was too jazzy and too, too bluesy, right? The masses was like, yeah, it's Kendrick, and we stiffed them with the last album, so let's nod our head, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But in all reality, the core was satisfied, and the masses had to get follow suit. Yeah. They had to get with it because the core was gonna put you on game and tell you, yo, look at what he said here, and look at what he said there. So to your point,
Yeah. So my point is, I feel like this should be a challenge to get the album out that you want to get out.
wow.
Package the marketing though, the storytelling, the marketing, the visuals in a way that people have to mess with it, and let the chips fall where they may. You know what I'm saying? I think I would love to see Andy Mineo make the album that he wants to make with no regard for commercialization, hooks, melodies. I just want to hear him do what he wants to do, or Lecrae, right? Because I feel like a lot of us are considering playlisting in the process. A lot of us are processing these things, and I feel like sometimes that can get convoluted. At least I'm speaking for myself. I don't want to speak for those brothers. I think they're amazing at what they do.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times, a lot of us are creating with playlists in mind. A lot of us are creating with syncs in mind.
Syncs.
A lot of us are creating with the end consumer enjoying this so that it has replay value in mind. And that's cool, but sometimes make the record you want to make, do the thing you want to do, and then come up, like, detach yourself from the art and come up with a great marketing strategy and the right visuals for it and the right rollout for it. And maybe that hits. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it flops. But I think everybody should have one of those in their arsenal. I think everybody should have. Like, I feel like Lecrae did it on Church Clothes 1, and that's my favorite Lecrae album. It's Church Clothes 1. Him, boom bap, samples, Ninth Wonder. You know what I'm saying?
You know what?
And that was my favorite record of it.
I second that. That, man. And you know, I was laughing at myself because I was like, wow. And the reason why I said wow is because, you know, it's very as an artist, I'm an artist, you know what I mean? It's very noble. It's a noble desire to just like make something that you're proud of, right? And that you didn't compromise, you know? And that's why it gave me a wow factor. Yeah. I think that, like, you know, the only albums that I think of that, first of all, this album is a classic. Okay, I've been telling you guys that it's a classic the whole time. I just tell you how it came upon me as a classic, right? This, because it brought me back to Nas's Lost Tapes, right? Nas is another person, right, who can release the last version of the Lost Tapes and the version before the other Lost Tapes, where we can say, after long saying, oh man, the beats were trash or whatever, that this album was transformative. Another album that didn't get the same allure as Illmatic was Written, right? But lyrically, it was transformative. Right. And I give you this. Look, from one of the songs that I really didn't like too much at first, but the second playback, playing it backwards, was the song that you didn't like, which was The Ghost of Soulja Slim. See, initially I didn't like it because it didn't have a hook, right? It didn't have a hook, and the beat was vibey, right? But listen, Jay-Z says this: I could never sell my soul. They sold their soul to me.
That's a bar.
And if you think about what happened what happened with the whole NFL, right? The NFL came to him, right? He didn't go to the NFL. The NFL came to him to ask him what we should do. You know what I mean? Yes. And so what I think that's also a jab to the NFL, and also, like, shout out to him because he never changed his principles. You know what I mean? Like, he made other people change theirs. Yeah. You know, which is to me is like one of the most powerful things for a black man in the United States. You know what I mean? Like, not too long ago, right? People of color, you know, that would be including myself, you know what I mean, didn't have any rights in America. Weren't able, because of Jim Crow, like in the one drop theory, they didn't have, like, you were subject to a systematic system to oppress you, right? And it was about their principles and what they built up, and you had to play by their game and their rules. Jay-Z has literally said, yo, I'm not changing on my principles. You're going to have to come to me and play on my principles, which is fire.
It's good. That's good, man. Anyway, yo, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us. I would love to hear what you guys think about all of this in the comments section. Let me know. Did y'all like this album? I liked it. I thought it was dope. I gave you guys all my personal reasons for loving it. I think it's a really good record. And it has me inspired to like rap. You know what I mean? And I might not, it may not sell like a gajillion records and a gajillion streams, but it got me excited to rap. It got me excited to produce. It got me excited just to get in my bag. And I think that's a great thing. And I hope all you rappers who are hearing this, consider both sides. Consider the audience, consider the consumer in your process. But at the same time, don't lose your ethos and don't lose what you represent just to try to just chase a playlist or chase a TikTok viral hit or whatever it is. So thank y'all for hanging out with us, man. Appreciate you. Ray